Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for choosing our show today, and thank you for your support. Ladies and gentlemen, the political undertones around and about Raila's health has opened a new Pandora's box, and it has built a rift between the united opposition and the ODM party, with the ODM party accusing the opposition of lying about Raila's health. But the opposition is saying that they don't have any ill motive or any ill wishes against Raila. In fact, Rigathi Gachagua is saying that they're praying for Raila to be given good health and live long enough so that he can witness the humiliating defeat that they plan to give him in 2027. And they say they do not wish Raila anything short of good health. Now, the ODM insists that Raila Odinga traveled abroad for a routine checkup. But the reality is, Raila is human and he is not immortal. So whether he went for a routine checkup or he was rushed for treatment, the reality that we have now is that Raila is sick. He could be in stable condition, but Raila is sick. That is why he's missed on major occasions and events of the ODM party, and that's the reason why we believe they had to postpone the celebration of the ODM at 20 in Mombasa. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the other reality that Kenyans and the ODM supporters must now live with is the fact that Raila has reached his political twilight days, and sooner or later, Raila will exit from active politics. That is the reality that they must live with. And the following people or the following groups of people must release Raila to exit active politics because they are misusing Raila. The number one group is this group of politicians who understand very well that without Raila's name, they can never be elected. They cling to Raila's coat. They never campaign. They do not have anything that they can showcase for the years that they have been elected. All they say is that they are loyal to Raila Odinga. This group of politicians is the one that is still telling Raila that he should continue in politics because without Raila, they are no more. So they are misusing Raila. They don't want to allow Raila to rest. Raila needs to take a break. The other group that would really wish that Raila should continue in politics is this group of politicians who can only survive when they insult Raila. Those who are coming from regions that do not want Raila, they only thrive by insulting Raila, without which they cannot be elected. These politicians would wish that Raila continues without a break in active politics. And then the third group is the UDA government that is using Raila to cling to power. And the government would not wish that Raila exits now. All they want is to ensure that Raila helps them up to 2027 and, if possible, endorse William Ruto for a second term. So they would really want Raila to continue. The question that comes in mind is, with the reality that Raila is now exiting, because if you ask me, Raila's done enough. And the leaders who support Raila and the ODM followers must now accept that Raila's just done enough and it is time to exit and allow someone to take over. But the biggest question is, if Raila is going to exit active politics, what happens in Nyanza? Because power does not exist in a vacuum. And the biggest discussion that now comes in is the succession politics. What happens to Nyanza in the event that Raila Odinga is not there? And for those who have followed my channel, in Nyanza, power falls on you like a spirit, otherwise known as Juogi. You cannot force it. And if you've listened to the people who are close to Raila, they would want Raila to show them the way that I'm now exiting, but I would want this person to take over. But it does not happen that way in Nyanza. Because even when Raila's father, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, died, he left Fort Kenya in the hands of, in lieu of the senior most politician then was James Agri Orengo. But Raila refused to bow down to Orengo and he rebelled, exited Fort Kenya, and started his own party. And people followed Raila. To date, Raila does not have party followers, but very staunch followers who follow his political ideologies. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you all understand that when we talk about succession politics, it didn't start today. You remember when Raila Odinga announced that he was going to contest for the African Union Commission seat, several politicians lined up to take over. And I remember Oparanya was there, Joho was there, the current energy minister Opiyo and I was there, and of course the current finance minister John Mbadi. What did Raila do? Raila ensured that all of them were appointed to several ministerial positions. Now they are very busy praising the broad-based government. They are not active in politics. Begging the question, who exactly takes over? Many believe that Raila wishes to appoint Opiyo and I or Nyawangaya, the Homa Bay governor. But the spirit seems to be falling on one man called Babu Owino. And many believe that the Odinga family does not want Babu Owino to take over. But Babu maintains that if he has to ascend to power, the only person that he respects is Baba. The moment that Baba is not there, he must not use any party to ascend to power. Rather, he says his name alone is bigger than any political party.
The name Babu Owino, ain't it bigger than almost 100% of the political parties in this country? So Babu Owino alone is a political party. Right? Yeah, so Babu Owino can be elected even without a party. You know, Melita, we are not rebelling in ODM. We are not rebels. We are working within the dictates and principles of democracy. And ODM means Orange Democratic Movement. Therefore, we are working within the dictates and the principles of the party. And democracy dictates that the majority will have their way, while the minority will have their say. Within ODM, Baba himself said that you are allowed to speak. You are allowed to be democratically correct. Being democratically correct means that those majority, let them have their way, and also the minority within ODM also should have their say. And that is what we are trying to do.
Recently, in the burial of the late Dalmas Otieno Anyango, a very senior politician, Babu Owino shocked Luo politicians when he was received resoundingly, and people demanded that he must talk, and people loved him. That has really elicited a debate. Is Babu the man to watch? Is he the hay apparel?
Eroro kamano. Eroro kamano. Mokwongo, adwana kaw polo ni makende, mondo mi ago mos, ne family aya. Awinjo ukoro we awach matin.
And we all understand that for the time that Raila has controlled Luo Nyanza ever since he got into politics, from 1997 to date, that is about 3 decades, about 28 years, when Raila has been controlling the politics of Kenya, and he's been the kingpin, the undisputed kingpin in Nyanza. And for those years, his followers believe and maintain that Raila's word is final. He's the Alpha and Omega. When you try to confront him head on, you fall by the wayside. And they have always given him their support. But it has never been easy, because we've seen people like James Agri Orengo trying to rebel against Raila Odinga. We've seen people like Nyongo. We have seen people like Evans Kidero. We have seen people like Raphael Tuju. We saw David Uching of Ugenya, the man who was leading the Young Turks, and he maintained that it is time that people forget about the Odinga hegemony, but all of them fell by the wayside. And the question that many people are asking is that will Babu Owino succeed in a game where his predecessors failed? This time round, will Babu Owino take over? Because many leaders have tried to take over, but they were unable. And my answer is a very big yes, an emphatic yes. In this video, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to look at reasons why Babu Owino will succeed in an area where his predecessors failed. Will it be unseating Raila Odinga? No. It will be succession after Raila Odinga has left. And this is the reason why I want to tell you that Babu Owino has launched and unleashed a stormy takeover in Nyanza that is very much inevitable. Kindly subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. This allows YouTube to notify you whenever we release a video like this. Please like and share our videos. Ladies and gentlemen, the number one reason why Babu Owino is likely to succeed and inherit Nyanza is because Raila's exit from active politics is quite inevitable. And why am I saying this? It will be very easy for Babu Owino to endear himself in the absence of Raila as the king. You know, over the years, it was difficult for people like Orengo and Tuju and David Ochieng when Raila was still active in politics. Raila contests to be the president and you also want to oppose him. People see you as a traitor because you want to rebel against their leader. Over the years, if you've read the history of Luos, they coalesced about one leader called the chief Ama Ruoth. Luos always don't, have very many leaders. They follow one. Of course, there must be other leaders who are trying to, wrestle power, but it has always been one. And we know from history that maybe Jaramogi Oginga Odinga and Tom Mboya, wrestled this power. It didn't end well for them. And so Luos decided that they would follow one person. So in the absence of Raila, Babu Owino will be there and people will not see him as a traitor. Even if Raila appoints someone, people will tell Raila, we respect you, but please, when it comes to your succession, stay out of it. And if those who still love Raila so much would decide to follow his will, then others will support Babu. That will be the beginning of the disintegration of loyalty in Nyanza. So in the absence of Raila, Babu Owino will succeed, unlike in the past days when those other leaders wrestled power when Raila was still there. It is like trying to inherit your father's land or property when he's still alive. So I think Babu Owino must succeed because there is no way you will be dragging Raila's name when he has exited politics. Number two, there is a serious demand for a generational succession. If you listen to the thoughts and wishes of many ODM politicians, they're saying once Raila is gone, then we need a fresh leadership. Not even in ODM, all over Kenya, you'll realize that leaders are yearning for change and a generational takeover. Look at who's the Secretary General of ODM. Edwin Sifuna. Edwin Sifuna is barely 40 years. Who was the Secretary General of UDA? They decided to select Malala. Malala is a young politician. So when you listen to what people would want, they wish that when Raila finally finishes his term, then someone who is younger must take over. I've always said that if you look at Kalonzo Musyoka, Mudavadi Musalia, Moses Wetangula, people like Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, their last chance of making an attempt to become the president of this country is 2027. Because after 2027, there is a new generation, the millennials. Look at Babu Owino, look at Edwin Sifuna, look at people like Sakaja, you look at Ndindi Nyoro, there is this crop of politicians who will not give them a chance because Raila cannot have a say in politics beyond 2027. Should William Ruto be re-elected, in the unlikely event that is re-elected, he will not control Rift Valley. He will not tell people tunataka Murkomen, tunataka sijui Sudi beyond 2027. Watu watamwambia wewe ulishamaliza yako, we allowed you. So if people like Kalonzo and all this group will not ascend to the presidency in 2027, in 2032, they will be met by a very strong opposition from the younger generation. That is the generation that is seeking to control these other parties. And in ODM, it is not going to be different. The fact that people are yearning for a generational change, a generational takeover, people like Caleb Amisi and all that, will make Babu Owino take over from the Luo Nyanza politics, because the way Babu Owino has been received all over, whenever there's an event, they always demand, due to public demand, they want Babu Owino to address them. And so Babu will take over. Number 3, Babu has avoided a direct confrontation with Raila Odinga. People are trying to drag his name, that Babu has been sent by Gachagua. But Babu is wiser than that. The other day he endorsed Kalonzo Musyoka because he understands that these people might not want him. And he's looking for a friendly party. If you ask many of the ODM supporters from Nyanza, they tell you, ule ambayo tuko na deni yake ni nani? Kalonzo Musyoka. Because he has supported Baba thrice. Even if you say that, Ali betrayed Baba in 2007, he has paid double. So Kalonzo understands that very well, and that's why he has picked Wiper, so that in the event they don't give him, the green light to contest under ODM on an ODM ticket, he will pick Wiper. And when he says he's bigger than any political party, he's simply saying even without ODM he can be re-elected. So, ladies and gentlemen, Babu has avoided this direct confrontation so that you don't accuse him ya kwamba yeye anadharau Baba. Yeye anasema ni Baba tu anaogopa hapo na anamheshimu. In the absence of Baba, kama mtakaa katika meza ya mazungumzo, he must be there. He must be on the table where politics of Luo Nyanza or ODM takeover is being discussed. And he says without Baba, he will kick that table if he's not included. Babu has attracted a very strong and fanatical following that is going to help him catapult to leadership. So we are waiting to see, because I understand that even the current PS Interior, Ray Omolo, is also, working behind the curtains to take over. But I can assure you that with the kind of leadership, with the kind of acceptance that Babu has received, that reception, Babu is the man to watch. I don't know what to think, but the reality is Raila is soon exiting active politics, and Luos are getting ready to usher in a new leadership. I don't know what to think, ladies and gentlemen, but let us watch this space.